Episode 2, Abu Dhabi.
Like Ferrari, you're going to be like, I can't wait to pack this car up and
Oh yeah, tip it in the biffer.
never
Get
see
rid
it
of
again.
the shit
Yeah,
box.
that's not even going into
Yeah.
the museum. This one.
No.
Welcome to the Two Mechanics podcast. Kenny Handkammer and Mark Grain have 18 Formula One World Championships between them, have been in the Guinness Book of World Records twice. They have over 30 years of motorsport stories between them, not to mention the 40,000 beers. Cheers. What you say?
So, Mark, what we saying?
Oh, Ken, I don't know. What do you want to say?
Well, that was a bit of a finale. Last race of the year. What do
Yeah,
you
it
make of
was.
it?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I mean, for everybody that's out there listening, you're joining us. Kenny and I are getting together straight after the 2025 World Drivers' Championship finale in Abu Dhabi, and with a brand new world champion, Lando Norris.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well done, Lando. And Howard.
well done, Lando. Well done, Lando. Well done to Zach and the McLaren team. I've obviously got some good friends there, some former teammates, former colleagues, and yeah, I'm really pleased for them.
The actual race itself, I think, if it hadn't been a decider, it was probably quite boring.
That's the thing, isn't it? I
Yeah.
mean, that's my takeaway, and you know, one of the things I wanted to talk to you about today. We've just had a thrilling second half of the season, and hats off to your former teammates, mate. You know, the guys at Milton Keynes, Red Bull and Max, what they've done in the second half of the season to come back and really push and challenge like they did, and only finished 2 points behind. Let's not forget. You know, that's incredible.
Yeah, and for Max to win, have won more races than anybody else, right? 8. Everybody else won
Exactly.
7.
You know, that's pretty special stuff there. So for all of that effort and for all of the stress and tension there would have been at McLaren, you know, and how we know how the previous 2 races have panned out for them, and they're getting disqualified, and then you know, arguably the strategy error that they had in Qatar there. So you got all of that tension leading up to this last race and this big push, and the race itself. I felt it let the racing fans down, and you know, the drivers to some degree, and the teams and everybody. I think everybody involved. If there had been more tension and so on, and you work. If you really had to work hard to get a result and get a world championship like that out in a really thrilling end race, then I think that's fantastic. But
Yeah, I mean, we all know what it's like to win a championship. Luckily enough, we do, right? And the feeling that goes through your body is just electrical. You know, it's
yeah.
crazy. And you know, it's been back-to-back races. Everybody's absolutely exhausted. You know, even if you hadn't won the race, everybody's just going to be, thank God the season's over.
Yeah, I agree, and yeah, it is absolutely thrilling, and it's a privilege if you're part of a world championship winning team, especially if you know you're lucky like you and I, where we've been actually trackside and won those championships. It's a joy that's really difficult to describe, but and you know, again, I was really pleased to see. You know, all those faces and those younger guys, and next generation of mechanics and engineers that were on the pit wall there from McLaren. Yeah, that's really pleasing, seeing that heritage that Bruce started is continuing, and you know, all the way through Ron, and now you've got the Zach era, and what they're achieving is fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the things that's a bit of a downer is they've got to do a test, haven't they?
I was going to say there's a test. There's a test.
Oh my God! It's like a poke in the eye with a wooden stick. You know, it's like, oh my God! I've got to take the engine out, put a test engine in it, probably.
That's it.
You know, new gearbox, radiators, etc., and probably a driver change,
Driver swap. Yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, again, for everybody
takes
listening,
the shine off it all a bit.
this takes the shine off it. Yeah, for everybody listening, what we're talking about there is there's always there's always a test, a post-season test, 2-day test, straight after the last race, and it's not again like Formula One previously, where you'd fly in a completely different team, and they'd take over the testing duties and so on. That doesn't happen. So there's going to be some people who are lucky enough they won't be involved in it, and they'll be flying back. But there's going to be a whole bunch of people that are staying out to run that test. So win or lose, you're out there, and you've got to dig in. Yeah. You've got a lot of work to do. Yeah,
just finally dig deep again.
Yeah, one last push.
Yeah. Thanks for coming. So I think overall it's been a decent season with the highs and lows, and it's been fairly entertaining. But we've got going into a new era, right? We've got new regulations which I need to get my head around. And we're moving front and rear wings and stuff. Our DRS is out.
Yep. The whole power unit, the shift in that, and so 50% from hybrid element. So that's going to be very, very challenging, and it's going to be challenging for the drivers and how they use that. I mean, all of the Formula One teams, they'll have been running simulations now for months and months and months on all of this, right? So everybody listening should be aware that these Formula One teams are so sophisticated these days, they will hit the ground running. There is all new technology. I mean, your former teammates up there, like I say, Milton Keynes, with developing their own power unit there in conjunction with Ford, wow, that's a big undertaking, that is. And I wish them all the best of luck. And I've got again, there's some good friends of mine, some former colleagues that are heading that up, and that's a big task. But at the same time, if that starts to mix up 2026 and provides as racing fans something to different results, maybe that different teams coming to the front. I think we spoke about previously about Adrian and Aston Martin, and I'm not going to bet against them running up somewhere near the front. And we both worked, as we spoke about last week. We both worked closely with Adrian, and we know what a hard taskmaster he is. But he's also one of the best that's ever lived. So, I wouldn't bet against him.
No, getting back to the engine, I mean, I just think that's an undertaking, like extreme. Are they ready for this? This is something that's nobody's done for quite a long time, and I know a lot of things have changed there, obviously, since I was there. But anybody bringing in a new power plant, it's huge, and I know Audi's going to be doing it, etc., etc. It's just a massive undertaking for an engine, because the development and the cost is insane.
Absolutely. I mean, I do know the Red Bull powertrains have got the right people, that's for sure, and they've not been backward at coming forward when it's talking about investment, and the facility they've got is second to none. It's fantastic. Same time, I remember when Honda came back into Formula One with McLaren in the hybrid era, this generation of engine. And I knew exactly what the facilities and everything that they had going there in Tokyo, in Sakura down there. But that was pain. That was proper pain for them and for McLaren for a long time before Honda came good, and eventually, of course, came good not with McLaren but with Red Bull. So I don't underestimate that challenge.
Yeah, Mr. Alonso was quite vocal about that, wasn't
he? It was. Coming back to this race, it just didn't do anything for me, honestly. I think Lando's overtake. It was two cars in one. I can't remember who it was now. It went past. You might remember, Ken.
Twice, yeah.
Yeah, and that's impressive stuff for somebody that had everything to lose. And he showed some balls there, and he did that. I think that those are the highlights of the race. Other than that, I don't know. it
I mean,
didn't do, it didn't do a lot for me.
it's a fantastic facility, right? It's a beautiful place to go. The weather's always bang on, and like I said, the facilities are another step compared to most things, and it's a great place to go. I actually wouldn't mind going there for end of year finale next year or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, it lends itself to be, you know, a really nice place to go. But I don't know if they need to change the track at all. I think this,
Well, that's, yeah,
you know, the overtaking, you can overtake there. I think that the Lando overtake thing, you know, that, and then what I hate about it is then it's like, oh, we're waiting for the stewards. We're waiting for the stewards. They might rule on it. They might rule it. And this is just, for me, if you just put gravel down the side of there, he's not going to overtake there. Right.
Yeah.
And all this off track limits it's just a really boring, sad regulation. If you just make it so if they do go off, they're going to suffer. Right. And that's it.
So Yuki was a little bit, he was a little bit elbows out, wasn't he? And, you know, he got the 5 seconds for it. He did move twice. I think it was nailed on. He was doing what he could for the team. Did he overstep the mark? Yes. You tell me how many football players, soccer players, shall we say, overstepped the mark this weekend and got a yellow card and did all of that sort of stuff, trying to do the best for his team. So, you know, these things happen. Don't forget, it's a team sport, and Yuki was just trying to do the best for his teammate. So that's my view on it. Yeah, he overstepped the mark. He got a penalty. There we go.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, I'm not a big fan of the regulation, but
no.
Yeah.
I mean, well, coming back to your point about the track, yeah, I remember going there for the first time, 2010. You were there. I was in the McLaren garage. You were in the Red Bull garage, and you know, I remember this. It felt like moving into a new era. I mean, you've got to remember this 15 years ago, but it felt like moving into a new era. The garages, the build quality of the garages, and all the air conditioning facilities, and all the
unbelievable.
You know, all the offices and everything that went along that made up Abu Dhabi was like we were being beamed into another planet, because it was such a big step forward. It just doesn't tend to produce good motor races, doesn't it? You know, no real big thrillers. There's been some strange incidences, like you know, Max and Lewis, you know, all of that. But that could have happened at any track. That was nothing to do with the fact that it was at Abu Dhabi. So I feel like they could do something, and you know, they've got the real estate there. I don't see why they couldn't reconfigure and so on. I know it's cost, but I don't expect they're short of a couple of quid either. Do you?
No, and it's kept immaculate. It's like a brand new circuit every time you go there.
Yeah, it is.
The upkeep is fantastic. They do it, and in fairness, so's Bahrain.
Yeah,
the Saudis really do know how to you know, put on a show and maintain the thing. It's amazing. Yeah, Bahrain's just like brand new as well.
Yeah, I completely agree. I don't think the TV does Abu Dhabi justice, because when you're there and you're in the paddock there, literally you go out of the back of the garages, and then you've got the team hospitality and the engineering offices, and then right at the back of that, there's a harbour. There are yachts bobbing around, super yachts and all the rest of it bobbing around in the harbour there, right out the back of the offices. So again, quite unique, but it just needs better motor races, doesn't it? It needs something that really, you know, a world championship showdown deserves that level of race. That's where I'm at with it.
Yeah, they've signed it again, haven't they, for another 10 years, I believe.
Yeah,
to be the last race of the year as well.
Yeah, and again, for everybody listening, that it's not, none of this is by coincidence. The order of these Grand Prix, there's a lot of work goes into the schedule and all the rest of it. But being the last race, and therefore the chance of being the showdown venue, comes at a premium rate. So Abu Dhabi, they pay extra to be that last race. So, which, you know, that's the way of the world, isn't it? That's just business. I haven't got a problem with that. But what I think they want to do is just give us a better motor racing circuit, and something that means you can overtake a little bit easier and
Well,
make a race.
Let's see what these new regulations will do for us. That's supposed to it's supposed to enhance overtaking.
Yep.
That's what they say.
Yeah.
So that'd be interesting when we see that. And you know what? It's not actually that far away before we start testing. Like mid February. We're only 2 months away.
I know, it sends shivers down my spine. I was out last night with a good friend who's still at McLaren, and he holds a senior role there in car build and everything. And all of those preparations are so far underway already. He's talking about the fact that they've got Formula One teams have, as well as a mandatory summer shutdown, they now have a mandatory winter Christmas shutdown. So they're just pushing as hard as they can to get so much done before they go into that Christmas shutdown period, knowing that when they come back in January, it is flat out, it's hard push. So we've only just, here we are talking straight after the last race of 2025, but time will absolutely fly by. There'll be lots of celebrations, lots of parties at McLaren, and rightly so. But it's incredible how quickly that will fade away, and the focus will be on, right, are we ready? Are we in the best position as it can be? How's the car going? Is the car going to be all shaken down and ready to go for that first test in the beginning of 2026? It's non-stop. It really is. It's relentless.
Yeah, total grind. I mean, you almost instantly straight after the race thinking about next year.
Yeah.
Although you already started prepping for next year, but it's like, okay, especially if you've had a bad year, like Ferrari, you're going to be like, I can't wait to pack this car up.
Oh yeah, tip it in the biffer. Get rid of it. Shit box.
That's not even going into the museum. This one.
No, straight in the compactor. I mean, in fairness, Charles made a bit of a fist of it today, didn't he? I thought that was a pretty strong performance. It's a shame that George lost those places at the start. I was hoping for George to be in the mix. I think that car was a bit lively from what I saw in free practice and then through qualifying on the second row. If he'd have made a good start, who knows? But of course, did
he have a problem with the brakes?
At one point, the radio message flashed up. Yes, that he had a braking problem, but it didn't really seem to slow him down. And of course, that wouldn't have affected what just looked like a poor launch. They didn't hold the lights for very long, did they?
No.
I know. Similar to Qatar, it was like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, out, go. Wow. So yeah, that was trying to make something out of that. I think I don't know. Does the starting these days? We need to find out, don't we?
Yeah. Like I said, I just still going back to the race where these decisions where you've got to wait for the FIA to go back and look at things. I think that's kind of leaves everybody hanging a bit, doesn't it?
Yeah, and it's like VAR in soccer, isn't it? The flow. I mean, motor racing by very nature is just super fast paced, isn't it? That's the whole point to motor racing, isn't it? It's fast cars going as fast as they can with the world's best drivers, and in all these different types of racing all over the world. That's the whole point. So you want snappy decisions and so on. It puts the pressure on the stewards and so on, and I get it, but that's another thing that could be.
Well, I mean, they change the stewards regularly, don't they?
Yeah, they do. I want to say it's race by race, but yeah.
Yeah, but I think that's wrong. I think there should be some more consistency because what you deemed, and actually I think it would make them better as well at their job because they've already had experiences with other races and say, well, yeah, we had that in Spa and it was okay, instead of these sort of, I won't say they're random, but the stewards are ex-F1 drivers mainly.
Yep.
And I just think it should be a consistent team of people that do it weekly rather than, race by race.
It's an interesting point. I agree with you. And to everybody that's listening, I know it sounds like Ken and I agree on every point, right? But trust me, there's plenty we don't agree on. I can tell you. But no, I do agree with you. You made me think about another thing. It's about the marshalling around the track. They're all pretty much volunteers from the local sporting authority and the local region. And it's great because so many of these people are volunteers and they give it the time, and they're the pinnacle of their season, their racing season, is if you're a marshal, right, and you do all of the volunteering with the British Marshal Club and so on, then your highlight is the British Grand Prix, and you should be rewarded. Your low light is when you're at Cadwell Park on a wet weekend, and somebody in his historic Formula Ford has gone off for the 5th time in front of you, and you're piss wet through, and fucking you got a 6-hour drive home, right? So to reward those fantastic volunteers all around the world who support motorsport and is wonderful. I do wonder if you should have those volunteers and then like a core permanent team. So in IndyCar racing, there's no volunteers. It's the AMR team, and there are professional recovery teams that are dotted all around the circuit. And I wonder if, certainly at Formula One level now, we've moved to a point where you could have a core professional team that would also go hand in hand with the fixed regular stewards, like you were talking about, Ken. And then you could support that with volunteers for the marshalling, and also like a guest steward or something like that. I can't think of the right term right now off the top of my head. But I think that would be something that would.
I mean, you'd like to think
really put Formula One in this profession where it's at in 2025, 2026.
Yeah, I mean, having volunteers at this level. I think F1's big enough to support, funding a proper team of people. I'm not saying they're not proper. There's some excellent marshals. We've seen them at races year in, year out. Silverstone Sid is another one, right? Etc. But I think, it shouldn't be. The whole sport's got so professional now, and there's so much money involved in it. We shouldn't be expecting a volunteer. I mean, if you've got these guys that are, at least pay them, right? At least some sort of payment, okay? Instead of this free voluntary stuff, it doesn't make sense to me,
Yeah. Good. Kenny's just made mention of somebody I've not thought about in a few years. It's Silverstone Sid, right? Silverstone Sid. So he was, he drove the safety car for all the different types of racing that were taking place at Silverstone. This is some years ago, and sadly Sid passed away. Quite a while back now, didn't he, Ken? And at his funeral, cracky, talk about motor racing royalty that turned out for Sid's funeral. That was quite a thing. And we'd be there testing in Formula One at Silverstone, and all the F1 team managers would be trying to nick another 5-10 minutes at the end of the day, So it was always 5 o'clock was when the track closed at Silverstone. And they'd all go up to Sid and go, "Oh, Sid, can we have another 5-10 minutes?" And as mechanics, the last thing you wanted after a flat out day, up, down, tyres on and off, it might have been engine changes, gearbox changes, all that stuff that go on in those days. The last thing you wanted was another 10 minutes. And the great thing about Sid was they'd all go wandering down and stop him in the pit lane. "Oh, Sid, I need another 10 minutes. And he'd always say, "Get fuck off." He fucking never get. And The other
See,
day,
he wanted to get away as well, didn't he?
yeah, exactly. He wanted to get away, and that was the old joke with him. He used to say, "He go, I said, what's a good time around Silverstone?" And he'd go, 5 o'clock.
Yeah, I remember he came after me after I called a message to the team manager at the time. He had one of those Ford Escorts with a big wing on them. What were they called? Do you know? They were really lit up. It was the sports ones. Were they not RX4s or something, were they?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So Gordon said, "Go and try it." I said, "Okay." So I said, and we were at Silverstone.
Yeah.
So I've come over and I've hit the wooden bridge, as you know, that goes over the circuit.
Yes.
And got airborne. And I've come down, got it all straightened up again. Obviously, I think it's a 5 mile an hour speed limit there. And he's come chasing after me. Who's driving? He's driving that car. I don't know. Yeah.
I think it was Gordon. I think it was Gordon Message, team manager.
It's
not my car.
Yeah.
It's not my car.
Yeah, you could get away with a lot more back then.
Yeah. Yeah. So, well, and like I say, it draws a line under another F1 season.
New world champion.
New world champion. Good for Formula One as a category, but also I think again good for motorsport in general. And you got a new face occupying that famous position. Yeah,
and another Brit. There's been 11 world champions now.
Yeah, from a very biased point of view, shall we say that? We've got Lando Norris, who's joining James Hunt, Damon Hill, Jensen, Lewis, John Surtees, Jimmy Clark, Graham Hill, Hawthorne, Jackie, all of that. So that's pretty special. Nigel, of course, can't forget our Nigel.
No.
So yeah, it's great. This holds a bit of a special place for me. In 2017, Zach asked me to organise a test. So we took an MP4 26, chassis 2 it was, and we put Lando in the car in Portimao in the first week in June in 2017. And that's the first time he drove a Formula One car.
Right.
And then it was in July later that year. That's when we did the post Budapest Grand Prix test.
And I guess he could test that car because it's an old car, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You couldn't do it with the current car.
That was it. That's why we used an old car. So a 26 was 26 was a 2011 car. So it was an old car, but V8 Mercedes, very very. It's a Formula One car, right? And so that's the first time that Lando had ever driven a Formula One car, and I'm very, very proud to say I was team manager and arranged all of that event, that test. And I remember, we went out and did the install lap, came in, back into the garage, all the normal stuff. Guys checked all the car. Tom Stallard, who's Oscar's engineer, he was out there. He was the engineer for this test, and he was... all right, okay, right. Ready for the first run then, Lando? Yeah. And off he went. And I went out and stood on the pit wall. And you can configure Portimao into... you can have a slow or a fast turn one. And it's a long straight that drops down a hill out of sight into turn one. And we had it configured so it was a fast right-hander. So I stood out on the pit wall. He went out first lap, out lap, and then he went past on his first time lap, and just a kid, first time he'd driven a Formula One car, and he went over the crest and out of sight, and all I heard was and he gone, and I was like, yeah, I don't need to be concerned about how the rest of this test is going. He was just straight away. First time he driven a Formula One car, and that's what That's what the good ones. That's what world champions. That's what they do. That's what they're like. You know, they're just
they've got the edge for
incredible
sure.
talent. Yeah.
So all in all, it's it's done. It's over. We've got new set regulation.
Yeah, a lot to look forward to, and a lot for us, Ken, to bring to people and give insights to. We're kind of coming up to the end of our time here, and I don't know if there's anything else you've got to add, Kelly, but I just want to thank everybody for tuning in again and listening, and the
only thing I need is sleep, mate.
Yeah. Well, you see, that is the thing. You get your head down, and I'm going to I'm going to head off to for a Sunday evening beer down my local pub. Nice.
I wish I could join you, and I will get back out there. I will get back to the UK, and we'll get together. And maybe we'll do a face-to-face podcast then.
That'd be brilliant. And hopefully everybody that's starting to listen to us appreciate that. Well, thank you everybody for listening, and Ken, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Getting up in the middle of the night for you. Get some rest, and thanks everybody.
Okay. Thank you very much. Cheers. Bye-bye. Bye.